Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to attempt the impossible, and that would be to send a 1/1,000,000th of a watt radio signal 123 kilometers, which is about 76 miles, on the 80-meter amateur band. The station that I'm trying to reach its call sign is KPH, and it is a former maritime marine station. I have been transmitting 100 milliwatts overnight, and conditions are improving, although they're not fantastic. I have now dropped down to 1 milliwatt, and I want to see how that goes before attempting a microwatt, which would be another 30 decibel drop. So we have the Whisper program running over here, and we'll do some screen captures. But basically, I've set it up here to, you can't read that, to notify the world that we're running 1 milliwatt. We also have a very nice program by a VK7JJ, which is a much better logging and analyzing tool than the standard Whisper program. And so my last signal-to-noise ratio, which was at 1612, or maybe we'll update, but last as of this screen was 8 dB SNR, which is pretty good for 100 milliwatts. But what we're really looking for is somewhere around 25. Because if we take another 30 off to 25, what we're really looking for is about 5 with the 1 milliwatt. And if we take 30 off of 5, we're at minus 25, which Whisper has no problem decoding. Now, how do we know we're transmitting a milliwatt, and how do you do that? Well, this radio consists of two pieces, one being what you might call the QRPP exciter, and the other being a small power amplifier. The thing is, I have two signals to and from the power amplifier, one for receive and one for transmit. And so I can put this very nice attenuator in on the transmit path. And right now, there's 60 dB of attenuation cut in. Do I have that right? Well, we'll check that. The attenuation is cut in order to get 1 milliwatt out. Now, this meter can read 1 milliwatt full scale. And we didn't have 60 dB, we had 40 dB. I just checked that. So now when I hit the tune over here on Whisper, or wait till it transmits again by itself, but I'll just accelerate the process. Enable TX, that's important. Hit tune. And when I hit tune, we go basically to full scale, which is 1 milliwatt, okay? Now, if I cut in another 30 dB, that's a factor of 1,000, and we're then at a microwatt. But I don't want to do that yet. So we hit tune, and in fact, what I'm going to do, since I'm only transmitting a milliwatt, I'm going to up the frequency, or the rate of transmission here, from the normal 20% that I use. We're going to go right up to whatever we can get. I know you can't read that number, but it's now at 100%. So I'm a real pig here, but I'm only running a milliwatt. So we'll go back over here, enable transmit. Now, in 20 seconds, I should start transmitting 1 milliwatt. Here's what I'm hearing. Not a lot. There's not a lot of signals coming in here. The last spot was WA7X. That was 45 minutes ago. Okay. Well, go figure. I didn't hit transmit next, I guess, or I thought I did, but it didn't transmit. It's the demonstration effect. So we'll hit transmit next. I'm going to, maybe I'll tell you about the rest of the station. The radio is homemade. It's a software-defined radio based on a Xilinx field programmable gate array. The antenna is nothing special. It is, and it's very hard to see, a trapped inverted V. You can't see the wires, but the apex is about 45 feet, and it goes off, the two ends are maybe 20 or 30 feet off the ground. So nothing spectacular here regarding an antenna for 80 meters, which makes the challenge even more interesting. Now, why am I doing this? Because I'm fascinated with how good the propagation is between here and KPH. It's really quite amazing. My signal, for some reason, it's like a virtual pipeline, and it just typically rocks into KPH during 2 times of the day, morning and afternoon. Midday, diminishes. During the wee hours, it can drop 40 or 50 dB from its peak. So it's an interesting propagation, and it seems quite repeatable. All right, so here we are. Hopefully it will transmit this time. I hope so. Demonstration effect. And there we go. Okay, the meter sprung up. We're transmitting a whole milliwatt, and that's because of this scale here, 0.001 watts, and full scale being that 1 milliwatt. All right, so we're going to let this roll for now. I'm going to pause actually stop the recording, and we'll pick up and see what happens here regarding the 1 milliwatt. Okay, I'm back. The 1 milliwatt test was partially successful. We do have a spot from KPH at 1630 hours. Signal to noise ratio -7. That's not going to cut it. We're going to need to get above 0 in order to have a chance with the microwatt. So we'll be monitoring this and see how it goes. It may happen today, it may not. It may happen tomorrow, it may not. It may never happen. We just don't know. That's part of the entertainment factor. At any rate, the 1 milliwatt made it 76 miles. Pretty good. That's it for the moment. Okay, I'm back. It is 1641. The last transmission at 1636 had an SNR of 6 dB with 1 milliwatt. This implies that I should be able to do this with 1 microwatt. Oh boy. So here we are at 1 milliwatt. I'm going to let that finish out. Then I'm going to cut in 30 more dB with this step attenuator. Gasp. Wild. Okay, so we're transmitting here. Transmit lights on. Sorry about this video. It's it's pretty haphazard. And we'll wait till it terminates, and then I will click in the 30 dB. Don't you know? And it ought to be real soon here. We've got, I don't know. Got a minute to go, maybe. A little less than a minute. 1643. It's like watching paint dry when you want it to happen, you know. It can slow down. Time slows down when you want it to speed up. I wonder if Einstein knew that. We'll maybe cut this out of the video, or maybe not, I don't know. I do want to capture the fact that we are at 1 milliwatt, and soon it will stop transmitting for just a pause. That's when I'll kick in the extra 30 dB, which drops us to a microwatt. And there we go. And now here's 20 and another 10, that's 30 dB, a factor of 1,000 in drop in wattage. And we will start again. See the transmit light on? Ah, but no reading. No wonder. We're at a microwatt. Yeah, minus 30 dBm, minus 60 dBW. So this is pretty exciting. This could break a record. I don't know, especially not being on a balloon or a drone or anything. We'll see. I'm going to pause it here. I expect this will take numerous cycles to get one spot. We'll see. Over and out. Since switching to 1 microwatt, and we've been at this now for over 45 minutes, there have been no new spots. It seems I missed the peak. The peak occurred at 1636 and was a 6 dB SNR. And then it went to -2, -9, and -6 with the 1 milliwatt, and my suspicion is it's still down there, or worse. So what we're going to do, we will go back now to 1 milliwatt by taking out the 30 dB of attenuation that I switched in. I'll do that on the cycle here when the transmitter stops transmitting. And that's these two switches here. And we should then see the meter, sorry about the sun, the meter go up to 1 milliwatt when I do this on the next transmission. There we go. Cut out the 30 dB. Go over here to the watt meter. If I can get, and there we go. We're back to 1 milliwatt. Note the needle has gone now full scale. So we'll do a few cycles of 1 milliwatt, see what we get over here for SNR results. But it'll be a few cycles. Over and out for now. Okay, well, we did, excuse me. We started again at 1 milliwatt at 1730, and 1642 was the time that we had changed, or I'm sorry, 1644 was the time we had changed to 1 microwatt. So 1730 is back to a milliwatt, and there have been 4 spots consecutive at 1 milliwatt. And we go over here and we see that the SNR was -1, 2, -9, and -9. Well, the 2 might have been my chance, because that would be a -28 dB SNR, which WSPR can't handle. The -9's no way. So I may again have missed a little window here. Another interesting fact is I can change this now from looking for W1QG up here. I can change this to none and just look at what's going on with KPH with respect to other signals. And we'll make this happen here. And here we are. And I'm going to sort this by SNR. So, the top of the heap at 1 milliwatt is W1QG, so nobody's blocking me. There's no other signal that's even close to what I'm getting with my 1 milliwatt. Here's a guy running 2 watts. Another guy down here, W6SB, running 200 milliwatts. But their SNRs are less than mine. So for what it's worth, and the peak was 6 dB so far. At any rate, I may change back. In fact, I probably will. We'll change back to 1 microwatt. It doesn't hurt. It's easy. So when the transmit light goes out, we will click in. This thing keeps zooming in. Click in another 30 dB of attenuation. Some may be wondering why I use this power amplifier if you're only putting out a microwatt. Well, the reason is it contains the transmit-receive relay. It contains some filtering that's useful on receive, as probably doesn't, you obviously don't need it on transmit for this power level. Okay, here we go. 20, 30 dB is cut in. When the transmit light goes on again, we have no reading on the watt meter. All right, so the point is, back to the why have a transmitter at all. Yeah, it's just, it's a little simplification. I don't have to put anything in line except for an attenuator. And, you know, that's good enough. It's free. All right, with that, we'll let this run and just see what happens. Over and out. Okay, folks, we're back. It is 1810 UTC, and we have done it. The highlighted line there, hard to see. Let's see if we can make this any better. I don't know. Maybe. At 1802, we had a spot with an SNR of minus 29 dB. Right at the edge of Whisper's decoding ability, and that is 1 microwatt. Now, some of you are saying, well, how come the watt column still indicates 1 milliwatt? Well, the answer is because Whisper stops at 1 milliwatt. Even though you can set the user interface to indicate that you're only transmitting a microwatt, it's ignored. And yes, you can check the Whisper site about this. I put in a, let's say, an observation a few days ago, and this is the conclusion. Whisper does not expect anybody in their right mind to use less than a milliwatt, I guess. But here we are, 1 millionth of a watt, traveling 123 kilometers. That is utterly amazing. Utterly amazing. So we'll let it run a little longer. There may be another spot. Never know. Could be, you know, a little local peak in propagation. But, you know, I know 1 point does not make a trend. But, you know, I don't expect this to be reliable. All right, so that is very, very, very cool. Very cool. And here we are on 3.5686 megagizzies, putting out no power, well, a microwatt. And, wow, that's really something. All right, stay tuned. Okay, we're back again. There have actually been 2 spots at 1 microwatt. Not quite in a row, but we have at 1802 was the first one. And, oops, 1810 was the second one. We go over here, and you can see they're both at minus 29 dB SNR. Fantastic. Unbelievable. So to put this in perspective, 1 microwatt, it's well beyond QRP. Normally QRP is considered 5 watts. So with 5 watts, this would be the equivalent of a 38 dB SNR. And I have seen this KPH report the signal up near that value, which is what told me that this should be possible. And here it is. So that would be 123 million kilometers per watt. Don't you know? Get your head around that one. Oh, yeah. So we'll put together a little video. It's not going to be beautiful. A lot of shaky camera work here. Would have been nice to have an assistant. So it goes. It has been documented. It has been done. I think I'll go back to 1 milliwatt here. I'm sure that this is as good as it gets for today. And I don't know if I'll try this again tomorrow. It's already been done. So there you go. W1QG. Signing off. Good DX.